All right, so I made it to the river crossing. This is it's in the wilderness area, and I'm gonna put up my um, little raft, load up my gear, and cross the river, and then we're gonna go up the ridge. It's gonna save me about 4 miles in, 4 miles out. So it's gonna be my first time doing this, so it's gonna be interesting. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I've got my raft set up, and there's some other guys that are coming down. They're gonna take a canoe across and hunt right up where I'm going, but they said they're only gonna be in there for the day, or day hunting it. So they'll just be in these lower draws. I'm gonna get up all the way to the top and go way off in there, about 5 miles. So, all right, here we go. All right, well, I made it across the river, and that boat worked slick as anything. I've already torn it down, and I hid it in the bush, and I'm just gathering my pack and everything together, and I'm gonna head up the mountain. There's already, I already see some elk tracks and down here right by the river, so I'm hoping that there's some deer down there too. Find out. Stay tonight, tomorrow, see what we can do, see what the heck I can find. If not, get out of here. So I finally made it to camp. It's almost dark because I couldn't make it up that ridge from crossing the river. I just got cliffed out, so I had to go all the way back down, cross back the river, go back 3.5 miles, and then hike up about 6 miles just to get where I was. And now I'm about 7 miles in. A lot of it was snow. It's really like a lot. There's over a foot of snow where I'm at. I was getting worried that it was getting dark and I couldn't find a flat place to camp. But these guys with the llamas had just pulled out of this old guide camp, and so there's a spot where their tent was. Like, I'm gonna put their tent, and they had a fire pit. I've got a fire going even though everything's wet. I used some pyro putty, and just an awesome camp spot, and it puts me within shooting. I can get to the spot where the guy told me there's some quite a few does, and he saw a couple of bucks. Coolest thing ever. This was the coolest thing ever. So I forgot my Jetboil fuel, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna have to boil with the fire. That would have been a pain in the butt. And I get up here, and this freaking thing is sitting right there on the ground, and I don't even know if it's gonna work yet, but it has fuel in it. I could not believe it. I was like, the one thing I forgot is literally sitting up here on the mountain, on the ground. Crazy. Over and out. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, this is morning 2, and last night was cold, really cold. I got woke up by something that was right in my camp, and I came out and looked at it with the light. I saw some eyes two sets of eyes. I didn't know if it was a deer or a bear, but I said, "Hey, bear, get out of here!" And it just stood there and stared at me. But this morning, I packed up. I'm headed in a little deeper, and I'm cutting a whole bunch of tracks, lots of tracks crossing the trail in the snow, fresh snow. So I also heard a deer in the middle of the night blow right by my camp. So I know I'm in the deer right now. So I'm slowing down, and I actually feel like I'm hunting for the first time. So it's gorgeous up here. There's about, I don't know, a foot of snow, and just looking for a deer. We'll see what happens. All right, so I did the morning hunt up about 2 or 3 miles, and it was really cold. I saw 2 does, 5 cow elk, and it seemed like there were probably some more deer, but they were further, and I'm just not willing to go that far. It's just too far, too cold. There was wind up on the ridge while I was glassing, and it felt like it was negative temperatures. This is where I camped last night. This is the guide camp, and then I had my food up there in that little tree right there, and all of a sudden I heard a noise, like loud enough and close enough that it woke me up, and my tent was right here, and it was something over there, and I thought, oh crap, it's a bear trying to get my food. So I got out of my tent with my light and my pistol, and I'm like shaking because I'm kind of scared, and I see up there, right up here, there's 30 yards away, there's two sets of eyes, and it looked like no, I thought, oh, that's a bear, I thought, oh, for sure that's a bear. So hey bear, I was like yelling at him, and they just sat there, just stared at me. I kept yelling at them, and then they went way up. They went up a little further, but still only like 60 yards away, and stayed there for a while. And I was putting my light on them and putting my binoculars up, trying to figure out what they were, but it was just too dark. But anyway, it was a little crazy. I almost shot over that direction just to try to get rid of them, but then I heard something over in that brush right there, and I said, "Hey bear, hey!" And then a deer blew at me. So I was like, "Oh, maybe those were deer over there," and I think they were, because there's some pellets right there by that tree that the guys left for their llamas, and I think those deer were right there eating those pellets, and that's what I was hearing. So it wasn't a bear trying to get the food. I couldn't find any bear tracks, so I'm pretty sure it was just 2 deer. I'm gonna have some lunch, and then I'm gonna pack up, and I'm gonna call it quits. Get out of here. I'm gonna go down lower and try to get a whitetail closer to the river. So I'm just not seeing enough deer, not seeing enough sign. I've seen some deer, some sign, but not a lot, not very much at all. And it's cold, and there's a lot of snow up here. So I'm gonna call it, get out of here. Over and out. All right, well, here's an update. So I was actually headed out yesterday, about 2 days ago. I was gonna leave, and I ran into a guy named Blake, and who had been in here a couple times, and he said, "Man, you should be staying." And so I said, "Hey, you mind if I join you?" And he said, "Sure, you can camp with me." So I've been camping I camped with Blake last night, or 2 nights ago, and then I spotted a couple bucks way on the ridge over there, which is 2,600 yards from here, but about about over 2,000 foot vertical, about 2,500 foot vertical in over a foot of snow, and a lot of it was off the trail, but we managed to get all the way down there, spot the buck up at 730 yards, and we got him. This is the biggest buck that I saw. There was a whitetail over there that was almost as big as that buck, and I wanted to shoot him, but he gave us the slip right at the end, so we couldn't find him. So, but anyway, yeah, it got really cold. One of my toes is not feeling right from last night. Coming back, we didn't get back till like 11:30. Just to camp. I'm packing up camp, and I'm gonna head out to the truck today. So it was an amazing hunt. It's just an absolutely gorgeous landscape, but man, it's cold. I mean, it is cold. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll ever do this again, but if I do, I'm gonna have a little bit different gear for a couple things: sleeping bag, tent. But yeah, so over now. So just a quick update. I'm about 3/4 of the way out with my pack out, and there's my loaded pack. I don't know how much it weighs. It's heavy, but it's been a little bit rough pack out, but it's just about dark. I mean, about 20-30 minutes till dark, and I have about 3 miles to go, so I'm pretty close. I'm gonna be put my headlamp on just now because I'm gonna be motoring out here in the dark. But man, I've never done so much for a deer in my life. Wow. I mean, crazy amount of work and hiking and freezing cold, deep snow, almost got frostbite on my toe. Probably a little bit did last night. It still doesn't feel right. And yeah, the Gospel Hump Wilderness, I don't know that I will ever come back and hunt this. I don't think I will, but it was a hunt for the ages. It was an experience that I wouldn't take back for anything, but I don't know if I would do it again for anything either. So unless there was some big bucks up there, then I would go. So all right, well, I'm gonna load up. I'm gonna get my pack on, and I'm gonna pack down to the river, get in the warm truck, go get a burger at Riggins.